Hi. Fantasy Recapped here. Today I'm going to explain a movie called Spoilers Ahead, watch out. And stay safe. The movie opens up in the kingdom of Izmir, where people are divided into parts. Those with magic are regarded as high class and are referred to as mages, while those without it are low class. Izmir Empire is ruled by Empress Savina together with her council members led by Profion. Empress Saviba wants the non-mages and mages to have the same rights, which Profion strongly disagree with. To win, the Empress Profion is searching for a mysterious red road that can control red dragons, although Savina is in the quest too. In the bowels of a castle in the kingdom of Izmir, leader of the Council of Mages, Profion, attempts to create a scepter in order to control gold dragons. He proves unsuccessful in using the scepter to control a gold dragon being held in the same bowels, effectively killing it by lowering a gate as it charged at him. He and his right-hand man, Damodar, begin to plot the takeover of the kingdom. Teenage thieves Ridley and Snails stare onto the lake, set fire by the dragon's blood, and plot to rob the Sumble Magic School. Meanwhile, at the Council of Mages, Profion, threatened by Empress Savina's desire to give rights to the common people, convinces the council that her power must be usurped. When a creature of Profions overhears Savina's plan to get rid of his influence, Profion sends Damodar to kill the magic school's library wizard to get the map to the Rod of Savril, a rod that allows the wielder to control red dragons. Meanwhile, Ridley and Snails break into the school in an attempt to rob it. While making their way through the school, Ridley and Snails are caught by Marina, a young mage and apprentice to Vildan, the school's library wizard. Hearing a commotion, Marina rushes off, dragging the boys along with her due to a spell she cast on them, to find Damodar interrogating Vildan. Vildan throws Marina a map before Damodar kills him. In the ensuing chase, the trio come across a dwarf named Elwood, who joins them as they escape into the sewers of the city. After escaping, the party are framed for the murder of Vildan. With a reward out for their capture, they plan to leave the city. Back in Profion's chambers, he infects Damodar with worm-like creatures for his failure, stating that he will remove them if he captures the party and brings them back to him. Profion then suggests that Damodar follow Norda, the Empress' best tracker, who is on the hunt for the party. While studying it in a tavern, Ridley and Marina are transported into the map, where they speak to a wraith who gives them a map to a dragon temple, where the rod is. However, in order to get into the temple, they must first infiltrate the Thieves' Guild in Antioch to obtain a ruby called the Eye of the Dragon. Meanwhile, Snails and Elwood are chased out of the tavern after running into Damodar and his men, with Norda in pursuit. After escaping the map, Ridley and Marina advise the group what they must do. Snails wants no part in it, but Ridley tells Snails that they plan to get the ruby and then split. The party arrives in Antioch and locates the Thieves' Guild after stalking a member through the market. After being captured by the guild members, they are taken to their leader, Xylus, who tells them that in order to obtain the Eye of the Dragon they must make their way to the center of the guild's deadly maze. Entering the maze alone, Ridley manages to make his way to the center to obtain the Eye of the Dragon. Xylus soon demands Ridley hand the ruby over, citing he's waited 15 years for someone to obtain it for him. Suddenly Damodar arrives at the guild, where he captures Marina and the map. Norda locates the remaining members of the group. After she reports to the Empress that Damodar has already taken Marina and the map, the Empress commands Norda to confront Damodar and retrieve Marina and the map. Elsewhere, Damodar pleads with Marina to help him obtain the rod. When she refuses, he tortures her to learn that the group has the Eye of the Dragon, and that it is needed to obtain the rod. Ridley and Snail stage a rescue by infiltrating Damodar's camp, while Norda and Elwood remain outside. While attempting to steal the map from his chambers, Snails is chased by Damodar. Ridley rescues Marina and gets the map back, but is unable to save Snails as Damodar kills him. Ridley charges, only to be stabbed by his own sword before Marina, picking up a bag of magical dust, casts a spell that subdues Damodar and escapes with Ridley. Back at the Council of Mages, the Empress and Profion are publicly debating in front of the council whether or not the Empress should give up her gold scepter to Profion or not. The Empress stands her ground, claiming she will not give up the scepter to Profion, believing he will only use it for his own gain, before storming out. Profion calls for war against the Empress, to the cheers of the council. Meanwhile, the party travels to an elf village, where a healer elf heals Ridley of his wounds. The king warns that if dragons are destroyed, then the balance of magic will go along with it. That night, Marina offers her condolences to Ridley, but he dismisses her because she cannot understand what it's like to be a commoner like him and that he no longer wishes to fight in this war. Marina tells him that the Empress wishes to make all commoners and mages equal. Ridley then kisses her as a tiny demon watches them in the distance. The party leaves the village and makes their way to the dungeon that holds the Rod of Savril. Ridley is the first to enter the dungeon, but the others cannot follow due to a magical force field blocking them. Ridley carries onward through the dungeon until he happens across a statue made to look like a red dragon. After placing the Eye of the Dragon into an empty eye socket on the statue, a doorway opens to reveal a room of treasures. Ridley ignores the contents of the room and approaches a skeleton hanging on a hook, the rod in its hand. The skeleton comes alive, stating it is Savril waiting for a worthy person to come and take the rod from him. Ridley takes the rod, but not before Savril warns him that whoever wields the rod will suffer a horrible fate, for the evil it creates cannot be undone until the spell is broken. Outside the council, the Empress uses her rod to call for the golden dragons to attack. With Profion leading them, the council counterattacks, having little effect on the creatures. The Empress, regretting her attack, calls the dragons to retreat. Exiting the dungeon, Ridley finds that the party has been captured by Damodar and his men. Ridley gives the rod to Damodar in exchange for the party's life, but Damodar orders his men to kill them anyways. The group manages to fend off Damodar's men, but not before Damodar opens a portal that will bring him to Profion. Ridley follows Damodar through the portal. Damodar gives the rod to Profion, who in turn removes the worm-like creatures from his head. The Empress stages another attack while Profion summons the red dragons. Meanwhile, Ridley kills Damodar, then attacks Profion. Ridley is no match for Profion, until the group shows up, effectively getting the rod away from him long enough for Ridley to get it back. Marina encourages Ridley to use the rod to bring Profion down, but Ridley, realizing the rod's power will corrupt him, refuses and destroys it. The Empress appears to confront Profion, who almost overtakes her, until she has a golden dragon eat him. In the aftermath of battle, the Empress declares that everyone in the kingdom is now equal. On the day of Ridley's knighting ceremony, he along with Marina, Elwood, and Norda, visits Snail's grave. After saying his goodbyes, Ridley places the eye of the dragon on the grave. As he does, Snail's name disappears from the grave and the eye glows bright. Taking the eye in their hands, the group are transported to go meet Snails. Subscribe for more videos like this. Remember, your support motivates us. Thank you for watching.